we are just about ready to go. So good evening everybody, Debbie here from Craftywafty. It's been a few weeks since I've been on to do a live video with you all. That's because I've been busy in the background. And what have I been doing? I've been creating my lovely Christmas album, or as I like to refer to it as, the big one. Dun dun dun. So oh, excuse me, you'll have to forgive me this evening because all week I've been a bit croaky and my voice comes and goes, and so if I get a bit squeaky, I haven't swallowed anything, you know, it's just how the voice is today. So we'll just sort of carry on and see how far we get. And I've got my supplies, I've got my cup of tea and everything, so hopefully everything will be good and we can sort of crack on and make a start. Right, so what have we got? So let's just do a quick little flick through of the album. Now I did do a little sneak peek the other day just to show you what it was like, and if you haven't seen it then pop over onto our Facebook page and you can see me going through it in a bit more detail, but I'll just give you a quick sneaky now. So this is the front of the album, and as I said, it is massive. Okay, lots of lovely pages in there. It's using the 49 Market Evergreen Season range, so you can see I've sort of decorated it on the outside, tied it with a lovely bit of candy cane ribbon, because I picked that up from the ribbon on the front of the album, which I thought was quite a nice touch to see that. And we'll have a little look through. So tonight what I'll be doing is I'll be showing you how to make the album, how we're going to make the base pages, and I'm going to show you how to make a few of the pages up for tonight ready. Okay, and then the next couple of weeks we'll look more at all the more intricate pages as we go, and then obviously doing the covers and getting everything done and finished ready. So this is a bit awkward trying to sort of work this one out. Let me just move this over. So this is the front inside cover, and I quite like this one. Oh, let's just move everything over. You see, I've been out of practice. I've only been gone a couple of weeks. I'm trying to get myself organised. Right, here we are. So this is the front cover. Okay, and we won't be doing this one tonight, but we will be doing it in a couple of weeks' time. So we'll just open it up. It's got a Velcro fitting, and when it opens up, it's like a lovely little pop-up. Okay, so we've got a nice little pop-up there, pop a little photo in there, so that's really lovely. We've got an acetate pocket here. If I take the photo mat out, you can see the paper behind that. Okay, and then here, let's just flip this over. I've got what I call back my fold back page with some photo mats there. We've got a little horizontal pocket there. What else we got? Two little envelopes, and then my double doors which open up. They've just got a magnet fastening on there. That's why I'm really zooming through this, because I have done a video before and obviously I just want to spend the time actually cracking on with this. And what else we got? So a little acetate side pocket or vertical pocket, so I've just got some little photo mats tucked in there. This one is just got a curve cut into the corner, so you can tuck in your photo mats and embellishments in that one. Told you it was a big one, didn't I? The flapper one was in one of my recent albums, the flapper album. So you've got a couple of pages there, some space to put lots of lovely photos, whichever way you're going to close that. This is the index stacked pocket, because I wanted it to look like an index file, so hence the name index pocket. And this is one of my favourite ones, is the W fold. Okay, this is the page page spread that is in the centre of the album, so I really quite like this one. Just give you a little, there we go. Can put a couple of little photos in there. This is my diagonal pocket, but it's a stacked pocket. Oh, excuse me, I told you. Oh dear, I might need a slab of tea in a minute. So yes, you've got three different pockets there, so you've got those tucked in. This is my envelope pocket here, but it's got a secret like little belly band in there, and obviously you can put photos and such in there, and that's closed with a magnet fastening. And then over this side we've got a little mini stack which only just goes as far as there, and then there's actually a little pocket that comes in down the bottom there. This is one of my favourites. This is, I did in the last album, the flapper album, I did what I called a square dance, where I had 4 little pages or little flaps on it, but when you open up all of these 4, if I can just grab that with my hands like so, and then you can twist it round so you get a different colours on there, and you can put different photos and stuff, so you can mix and match it round as much as you like. And what else have we got? Oh yes, this is my plaid pocket. Absolutely love this one. This one is one of my favourites. Took me a while to sort of design this, but if I just pull these ones out here, you can see I've got a lovely plaid design going on, so we'll be doing that in a couple of weeks time as well. Let's just tuck that in there because we don't need them all out for the minute. Then we've got our bog standard diagonal pocket, so just tucks in. I just wanted to follow the theme across with the triangles. And this is my photo corner one, so you've got the lovely corners here, so you can tuck things inside, or if you've got a nice big photo to go on there already, and then you can put the photo corners on and decorate it like so. Almost done. Deep breath, damp. Right, so this is my folio pocket, so you've got a frame which is part of one of the ephemera kits that come with the frame and that, so you can tuck a little photo in there. But if you open it up, you've got a couple of photo mats tucked behind that belly band, and then you've got a little pocket there to tuck in some bigger photos. So lots of different size photos across this album. And last but no means least are the last couple of pages. So this is my chevron. I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted a different shape on it, so I call it my chevron waterfall. So you can see where I've cut that, and then if I flick right to the back there, you've got a place to put another little hidden photo there. And then on the back cover, now this one, if I just take these bits out, so this is like my secret envelope pocket, because when you look at it, it looks like it's just a pocket and that's a flap that should open up, but it's not. We just tuck the little photo mats and stuff in there, and there's a little stacked pocket in the back, and then I've just decorated the inside of the cover. And what I wanted for this album, because it's so big, I wanted to make sure that all these pages were protected, and that's why I've put the extra spine bit on, and then you've got the flat bit that comes over like so. Now you have a choice to make. Okay, you can either close it with ribbon, how I have done it, or as we're moving through, you could put a couple of magnets in underneath if you want the magnets to hold it together. Your choice, but I quite liked having the ribbon because it just sort of picks up from the papers like so. So I'm just going to tie that off like that. So that is a very quick zoom through the album. So I'm just going to pop this out the way and we'll make a start. So obviously this evening we've got lots of things to go through, so I'll take you through the basics. If you haven't seen any of my previous videos for some of the albums I've made, there is a load on our YouTube channel, so if you pop over to Craftywafty, you'll see those on there. And and obviously on our Facebook page as well, there are quite a few of the videos as well, especially for like the Flapper album and a few other things that I've been busy making. You'll be able to go back and have a look at those videos there, so you'll be able to get all of that. And the 49er market range we've got on our shop still, with lots of ephemera, so you've got plenty to choose from. And to decorate the album, I did use one of the main paper packs and one of the solid paper packs as well. So I think it was about between 20, I think it's about 20 odd pages of 12 by 12 across the board, and then I've used I think 2 or 3 different packs of ephemera and the chipboard words and that as well. So, but there's lots of stuff on there and you can choose that. And obviously, you know, if you want to make the evergreen, then pop along to the shop at craftywafty.co.uk. Right, that's all of that stuff done. Let's get making. I'm really quite excited about this, to be honest, because this album I've been sort of sitting on for a little while. One, because it's taken quite a while to put it together and that, but the other thing is that I think it's just going to make a beautiful gift for somebody for Christmas. And what I'm going to do is that although I'm initially going to make the album just plain, all right, and we'll see how far we get with the weeks, but if you want any help with decoration, then obviously you can go on and flick through the videos and you'll be able to see how I've decorated everything anyway, if you wanted any hints on that. So shall we make a start? So the first thing I thought we'll do is let's just get the album cover made and out the way, okay, and then you can just pop that to one side. So some of you know I love these little clips. These are just so brilliant for doing stuff like this, just keeping everything together. So I'm just going to pop that on my little box over there. I will go through all the measurements as we go along. All right, so if you've got a pen and paper handy, you can jot these down as well. Okay, so I'm using construction board. I'm using 1500 micron or 1500 micron, whichever way you wanna say it. That's what I'm using for this, but I know we have got on the shop some mount board, which is just as good. So if you can't get hold of construction board, you can use that, or if worst comes to the worst, you can stick some cereal packs together. You know, if you glue them together and keep them pressed and that, and just thicken it up as much as you like, then obviously you can use that as well. So I'm always for the tips. All right, so for the front and the back cover, it's an 8 by 8 inch album. Okay, so you're going to need 2 of those. All right, and then you've got, for the main 2 spines for either end that make it into that sort of box shape, you've got an 8 inch by 3.5 inch, 2 of those. Okay, so I'm just putting that down there so you can see my measurements. All right, and then you've got the last little bit, that is the flat bit that comes over, and that is 8 inches by 2 inches, and you just need 1 of those. So that's what you need. And I used approximately, well, just under 3 A4 pieces of construction board, just to give you an idea of how much you need to use on that. Okay, so, and what I would say is always hang on to your scraps when you're cutting anything like that, because you know you can always sort of get away with using this big you know, these odd bits and pieces like that for making any other albums and stuff like that. So there we are. So we've got our covers, our 2 spines, and our little flat bit that goes over. Technical term that. Right, let's just pop them to one side for a minute. What else have we got? Oh yes, our black 12 by 12 inch cardstock. I've got 3 sheets here. So this is what we're going to use for the cover. And what I would say is that when we come to do this, okay, when we lay it out across, and that is, keep the bit that you cut off, because that will come in handy for other stuff as well. Okay. Right, let's get comfy. There we go. Right, so what we're going to do first of all is I've got some red liner tape. I always like to use red liner tape because it just it's really quite strong. It sticks to anything and it's not very forgiving. So if you're using this stuff and you've not used it before, then you can add a little bit of glue onto it. I'll show you what I mean when I come to do this. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to stick the pages together. I'm just going to snip that bit off because somehow it's picked up a little bit of cotton. Quite not sure that's happened. Let's tuck that away in the bin there. So I'm just going to run this through now. I'm using 12mm. That'll be okay. Mum, I'm in the middle of a video. All right. You have to laugh, don't you? I tell the family, don't ring me because I'm filming, and what happens? They ring me. I do wonder sometimes if anybody really listens to what I'm saying. Okay, all right. That was quite interesting, wasn't it? I wasn't expecting that. Okay, so we're going to tuck. That's going to flap over like so. So I'm just going to put another bit on the other side. So we're building a big long piece of black card for the cover. Okay, obviously if you've got can get your hands on a 3 piece of paper or card, then you know that's great, but I'm just showing you what I'm doing if you haven't. Okay, so I'm just going to put that down there. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to stick that one on there, and then this one will come and stick on like so. All right, let's get my little pokey tool. Now, as I was saying, little tips here. When I'm sticking anything that's got quite a long length on it, and I don't want to get into a bit of a 2 and 8 with it, I'm going to just crease that bit. And what I said earlier is that if you're a bit unsure about gluing anything like this, is that you can just add a bit of squeaky glue onto there. Okay, and then I'm just going to take that back right off actually, and this, by adding the glue to the red liner tape, will give me a little bit of wiggle room before it absolutely grabs it, and then I've got nothing else that I can do after that. So let's just line this up here. So because I'm on my mat here, I can work out roughly where that line is going, where the tape ends, so it just gives me a bit of an idea. Don't worry too much if you don't get it exactly level, because we will be trimming some of this off anyway. Okay, so that's the first bit on. I'll just flip that over. Okay, so you've got that stuck down. Perfect. Right, I'm just going to shunt that along a bit, and now I'm going to do exactly the same on the other one. So I'm just going to take the little red tape off like so, and just run this along. Squeaky. There we are. And I'm just going to line that up on my mat just so I can see what I'm doing. Like so, and then we're just going to drop that down in place. There we go. All right. Okay. So I've now got, I know you can't see it on here, but basically 3 pages all together like so. Okay, now I'm just going to line up my boards just so I can make sure that I have got enough on there. So just going to tuck that one in, and then I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, because I will have to move this along as we go along. So I'm just working out that I'm leaving about an inch gap on the end here. Okay, and then I will have like a 1/4 of an inch there, and there'll be a 1/4 of an inch on that one, and then as I move this further along, I then put the other spine in, and that will be about 1/4 of an inch, and then you've got the last little bit right on the end. So I'm just going to drag that along, so you can see that I've got all this cardstock left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim that off roughly now. Give myself a little bit of grace. So let's just come over a little bit. but I'll hang on to this bit because this bit will come in handy for making a pocket or doing something else on one of the pages. So let's just trim that right down like so. There we go. All right, so hang on to that bit because that bit will come in handy. Okay. All right, now I like to make sure that I have really lovely smooth finish on my covers. So what I normally do is use some of the double-sided, let's just pop that out of the way, double-sided A4 adhesive sheets. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stick them onto the construction board on one side so that when we come to lay them down they'll just stick straight down, which is a lot less faffing, and then hopefully that will give us a nice smooth finish as well. So I'm just going to, now we've got the black cover bit done, I'm just going to move that out the way. So I really need a bigger workspace, but there we go, we can manage, we can do this. Right, let's just put all the pieces here. So I'm going to do the two big pieces first. Okay, so I've said 3 pieces for here for this particular task, but you will use the offcuts as well. So I don't know if you can see here, I haven't stuck it down yet, I'm just lining it up, and I'm just going to hold that in situ. Now you could either run a pencil line round it and cut it. I'm going rogue, I'm going with my craft knife, and I'm just going to run that along the side of the construction board. Okay, and then just going to turn that round and put that on there, and then I'm just going to run that along there as well. Okay, so that will do for one side, and then we're going to do the same for the other. I'm going to come back to that bit in a minute. So I've already got this. Here we go. Now bearing in mind that on some of this paper you have like a little flap bit to peel it back, so just be wary of that when you're lining up your construction board. We sell the A4 adhesive sheets on the shop as well. So I'm just going to come along, I'm going to take that right off on that one and come down just to trim that. Okay, so that's 2 sides like so. So just put those over there, and now we've just got to do the spine bit. So I'm hoping we can get the spine bits out of these. Let's have a little look. Let's just see. I'll be honest, I can't remember. Oh, look at that. That is near as damn it. Look at that. That's pretty good, that. Okay, so I'll just trim that last little bit down like so, and we come across the top like so. There we are. Okay, that's one bit done. Oops, this stuff sticks to you as well. I've got the other one to do, and then I've just got the little tiny one to do as well, so we'll just pop that on. So I don't know about you, but if you save any of your scraps of double-sided sheets that you use for if you're covering any other albums, then that will come in really handy for something like this, because obviously I could use it just to sort of do this last trim bit, but I'm going to just take that edge off there and leave that big bit, because that big bit would be nice to cover, use to cover for another album, so it's not going to go to waste. So let's just take that off. There we go, tuck that out the way. I'll just trim this down on here. So we're sort of just doing all the fiddly bits at the moment, and once we've done this, it won't take us that long to put the album cover together. Okay, right, I'll have a little slurp of tea. Oh, I do like a cup of tea. I don't know about anybody else, whether are you a strong cup of tea person or a weak cup of tea person? My friends say that my cup of teas don't look like tea at all. I quite like mine quite weak. And the reason is that back in the day I used to have 2 sugars in my tea, and I used to have my tea quite strong. And then when I stopped the sugar, the tea just didn't taste right. So I kept adding more milk and less strength on the tea. And yeah, I've ended up with, well, I say you like to call it baby tea, but there we go. Right. Less waffle more doing. Right, so obviously I need to peel off these because we need to be able to stick this down on here. So I'm just going to peel off one side, because the other side I'm not going to peel down until we're ready to stick these on. Now if it's a little bit fiddly, so if you haven't got nails or you can't find the edge, oh there we go, it's working on this one, then I'll show you a little tip on the other bit, but that one has worked okay. So I'm just going to pull that off. This is where things get a little bit sticky, and I'm just going to put this, line it on the top like so. I'm just going to run that along, and then, oh, there's Bernie, get my Bernie burnish, and we're just going to rub that along like that. So I've still got one piece left to peel off that to stick on the black cover. So that's one bit down, and we're just going to do the same with the rest. If you're having difficulty trying to peel off one side, what you can do is just put a little cut across the corner, but not going right the way through. You're just scoring that little bit, and that will give you a little bendy point that you can see. Now I can peel that little tiny corner off. Don't know if you can see that. That then leaves me with space to get my nail in and just pull the rest of that off like so. Okay, all right, let's just stick this down. Oops, okay, didn't quite line that up. Here we go. There we go. Got stuck to my board before I had time to line it up. Right, there we are. But we'll get me Bernie burnish on that. There we go. That smooths that down like so. Right, we've got 2 down. Just a couple more pieces to go. So let's see if I can peel this off again. Here we are. Right, that's it. Let's just try and turn this round, line it up. Flapping around a bit like a dog's ear there. It's just, come on. Right, there we are. Right, got it. Obviously, if I was to go over a little bit, then I would just sort of trim it on the other side. Okay. Right, now here comes the big ones now, because we've got bigger bits. We've done the easier bits. We're just going to do this bit. So you might find it easier just to do a little bit of a corner and then peel it, and then just sort of drag it across like so. But I'm just going to go for it, I think, because I'm in that sort of mood today. Right, okay, so that's a big sheet. Let's get that out the way. All right, I'm going to hold this up. So I'm holding this in the middle, and I'm just putting a little kink in it because it just sort of gives the paper a little bit of strength to it. There we are. Oh, that's not bad going. Look at that. Whoops, stuck that on that bit. There we are. We've got a little bit of overlap. Oh, not much. I can trim that down. That's fine. And here we are. And then the final piece as well. And then we've got this bit done. So as far as fiddly things go, if you're making albums, this is probably one of the fiddliest things to be doing. Okay. And we're just going to sort of tuck that on there. Like so. There we are. Now, actually, I've just realised this bit that we've got left over, we'll need to do put our hinge on. All right. So just make sure you do hang on to that bit. So that's our 3 pieces. So let's just get our Bernie burnish across that. Let's pop that out the way. There we are. And we'll just do this bit like so. Beautiful. Right, okay. So we are now back to our big black cover. Now obviously I've used black card to make the album cover, but it's really up to you. If you want to do a different colour, that's your choice, but I just like the black. I think it just gives all the papers a bit of a pop. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place these down. Oh yes, I didn't trim that bit, did I? Let's just quickly do that. There we go. Let's trim that little edge off. There we go. I always start a new project with a new sharp blade. Just a little word of wisdom there. Always put a new blade in when you're starting anything like that. Trust me, it makes everything worthwhile. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to situate this down in this corner with about an inch gap around. All of this bit eventually will be cut off at the top. Okay, let me just move that over so you can see that here. All right, so about an inch. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to peel this off and stick this one down first of all. So as I was saying, my little tip to peel off the other side, if you just score across that plastic, you should then be able to just pull that off like so, and then that gives you access to the rest of that. If you can see what I'm doing there, now I can get the nail in and pull that right back. Here we are. Right, and we're just going to turn that over. Now you might want to stand up for this, but I'm just going for it. But this is a rough idea, and don't worry if you're not quite straight, just so long as we get it as, give us that edge there we go. All right, so that's the first one done. Okay, right, I'm just going to shunt this along a little bit. Now what I like to use is one of my Omni Grid rulers, because I use this as my guide for where I'm going to put in the next piece. Plus I have it rested against that, and it just keeps everything straight as we're going along. You can buy bookmaking tools, like they're like little T-squares and things. I think you might have seen me use them on a couple of other albums in the past, but I like to give you other alternative methods of what you can use. So I'm just going to use my ruler. So we've stuck on the front cover first, and now we're going to go with the first spine piece, because in this album we've got 2 spine pieces. So we're going to tuck that in there. So I'm leaving a 1/4 of an inch gap. So if I just rest that like so, and before I drop that down, I'm pushing this ruler against it so it's nice and straight. I'm just dropping that in like that, and that is our next piece done. Okay, then we're going to just shunt this along a little bit more. Now the beauty is that the where we've wrapped the papers over, that hinge bit or that join is going to be nicely in the middle of that spine cover. So when we decorate the outside, you're not going to see that much at all. So what we didn't want is for it to fall on the hinge bit, on the fold of the album. So that's worked out really lovely. Now we're going for the next one, and again I'm just going to slice across like so. Just peel off a little bit there, and I'm just going to peel off this next bit. Oops. Right, okay, and I'm going to flip that over. So again, I'm just using this as a guide. I'm going for the 1/4 of an inch, and I'm just going to drop that down Get my fingers out the way, keep that in situ, like so. So that's 3 pieces done. So we've literally just got the last 2 bits left to do. Okay, so this is our next other hinge bit, or our spine bit, which is going to come in there. So I'm just going to do the corners again. Just slice that off. So it just makes it so much easier to peel this when you do the corners. Here we go. Just going to peel that off. Like that. Flip that over. Again, leaving 1/4 inch. Now the reason why I'm leaving 1/4 inch is because this is a big album and I want plenty of bend in the cover. So I'll just pop that in on there. And then the final last little bit is coming on here. So we are almost done, like so. Okay, just trying to line that up. There we are, just the last little bit. I'll just peel that off. I'm just going to take this off. There we go. And we're just going to stick that on as well. And again, 1/4 inch, like so. So just going to drop that down like that. And there we are. So we've got all our main pieces down. Okay, let's just move that out of the way. I've lost Bernie. Where did Bernie go? Oh, there he is. He's hiding. So I'm just going to give this a bit of a rub, just make sure that that is all nicely firm on our black card. And then what I'm going to do is literally just run the ruler down there and take 1 inch off. Well, leave 1 inch rather. So I'm just going to run that along. It's a bit hard for me to show you what I'm doing. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to have to do it in a couple of stages, but we're getting as close as we can with this. All right, so there we are. That's one bit. Just going to put that flap up there, and then we'll come down and do the last bit. Told you this was a big album, massive. So come down. Okay, and then we've just got the last little bit, so I'm just moving that over. Now, I'm not too precious as to whether I've got it completely straight or not, because to be honest, we're going to be folding it over, and it's going to be covered anyway. So let's just tuck that out the way, like so. I'll just turn this around. And there we are. Ah, so you can sort of see where we're going with this. Okay, now Bernie comes into his own, so I'm just going to run him along these creases here just to help with the fold a little bit, just stretching those fibres. So if I just bend that a little bit now, you can see that is bending over a lot better now. That one's bending over, and again the fold on this one is right down the middle of that spine bit, so that's going to be handy. So just sort of creasing those, and we're going to come along and do our corners and our edging. So I'm just going to run my Bernie just along here, because I want to be able to give this paper just a little bit of a helping hand when we come to fold it. So I'm just going to go all the way round the edge of the cover, just to, I'm not pushing too hard, because what I don't want to do is go right through the paper, but I'm just giving it a little gentle move over there. That's it. Right, okay, there, Bernie, you can sit back in my pot there. All right, and then I'm just going to ease this up just a little bit, just to help those fibres move. because when we come to stick this down, we want to make sure that we've got a bit of movability, and it's going to just make it easier. So we're just helping the paper fibres change their shape. Like so. I'm just going to fold that one like that. Right, okay. So the next stage is that we're going to stick this down. Now, like I've said before, when it comes to anything album making, I always use red liner tape for the construction stuff, and that also goes along with when I'm doing my cover as well. I want to make sure that these are going to stick down properly and that they're going to be sturdy enough, because obviously when we put pages and decorate the inside of the covers, I want to make sure it's going to be strong enough to hold it. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking, see if the 12, actually let's swap that over. I'm going to use 9mm for this bit, because I'm going to run 2 lengths down that side, unless you've got 1-inch red liner tape, then you can just do the 1 strip, but I've only got the 9 with me for the moment, so I'm just going to sort of line that up. Don't worry about coming off over the edge, because we will trim that down when we do the mitre corner bit. So I don't know if you can see where I'm about there. So I'm just going to run this all the way along. I know you can't see everything on here. Let's just snip this off. I'll show you as soon as we've done that. It's just a bit hard with the camera. I can't get that all in. But basically, I'm putting one right by the edge of the construction board, and then the other one right to the edge of the card stock, like so, because we just want a really good seal on our album cover. We'll get Bernie out in just a minute. Right, let's turn this round. Hi Jackie, see Jackie's coming on here. We can't see what you're doing, my lovely. What, with this bit? Oh, I like the corners, she says. I'm hoping that you can see. It's a bit hard, this bit, I will tell you, because we can't, the camera doesn't go that wide enough for me to show you, but you'll see what I mean when we come to do the corners. I promise you will see what I'm doing. But for the moment, I'm just running the red liner tape all the way along. Okay, and we're just going to put that on there. Right, and then we're coming on. I hope you can see it now, Jackie. Give me a thumbs up if you can see what I'm doing now. Just running the red liner tape all the way along. That would be really helpful. So let's just come all the way along, like so. I'm just going to trim off this little bit. Right, okay. So I'm just going to turn this on its side. So now you should be able to see what I'm doing here. So I've run the tape all the way almost to the end here. Okay. And I'm going to just run this right by the, whoops, by the construction board. Like so. We'll just give that a little trim. No, just your head, she says you can see. Oh, that's not good. You not just see my head? Is that all you can see, just my head? Oh, I hope you can see more than that. Is that better? Okay, I think we've got a technical issue going on here. So, right, Jackie, is it just my head you can see? Can you not see anything else? Because if that's the case, I'll finish off. Right, I'll just, bear with me just 1 minute. Right, let's close that one up. So it's because I've got the iPad as well, so I can see what everybody's doing with all the, for the comments and everything, and perhaps that's just throwing the camera. Right, Jackie, if you can give me a comment and let me know that you can see everything okay now, that would be really lovely. Just so Don't quite understand why that is happening like so. Oh, okay. Well, we'll crack on and let's see how we going. Hopefully you can see everything now. Well, that was a bit of a worry. Just want to make sure that everybody can see everything that we're doing. Oh, well, I know it's recording, and if that's the case, this will be live on our video feed afterwards, so please don't panic. I'll just make sure that's okay. I'll just put all of that on like that. Okay. Right, okay. I'll be honest, I'm a little worried now that not everybody's been able to see everything. Okay. All right. Well, we'll carry on and we'll see if I get any other comments coming through, and we'll sort of take it from there and just see what's happening. So this is it, you see, modern technology and all the rest of it. So we do try other things, but yeah, we'll just crack on. And like I said, if anything happens, we can sort of get everything done. So right, just texting my little friend just to make sure that she can see everything okay. Right, and we'll just wait for her reply, and hopefully everything's all hunky-dory now. Okay, right, apologies for that. Lovely technical issues and all that stuff. Okay, so here is our cover. We've got our construction board on. We've stuck that down with a double-sided tape, or the sheets. And now what we're going to do is we're going to mitre the corners. So I'm just going to bring this round here. Now, a little tip that I have, which I think I've probably mentioned before, but what I tend to do is I just colour in the corners, okay, with a little black pen or Sharpie, and I'll just go around the edge of that. It's just in case that if I cut it and I cut it too close, that you can't see the construction board. All right, so it just hopefully gives it that better finish. Right, let's just tuck that in on there. Just going to run that down the side of that, and I'm going to do that on all four corners. Let's just turn this around and do the other side. Like so. And just tuck that round on there, just to make sure that's all gone in. That's lovely. Now, mitering corners. There are gadgets that you can get that will help you do this, but if you haven't got anything like that, you need to know how to do it without, and that's what I'm going to show you. Okay, so this is just got an ordinary ruler. Now, obviously, dependent on the depth of your construction board, will determine how far away you are going to cut your corner to your construction board corner. Okay, but I like to give a little bit of leeway. So what I'm going to do is that, and you're going to cut it roughly a 45-degree angle. So where the corner comes there, I'm going to put my ruler right up against it, and then I'm going to come just over a little bit, just to compensate for the depth of the just the depth of the construction board itself. Okay, and then I'm literally just going to cut straight across. Now, this is why I said don't worry too much about the red liner tape on the end, because we literally trim that off. Now, I've cut that, and I'll be honest, I probably cut that a little bit too close, but because I've put the black on it, you're not going to see that. And also on my original album I have used corner covers as well, so all is not lost. Okay, all right, Jackie says all is good. Thank you very much for that. I'm just double checking. Never quite sure what's happening here. Right, okay, so moving over, we're just going to come over again a little bit. I'm going to allow myself a little bit more space there. I'm just going to mitre that corner and get rid of that, and then I'm going to do exactly the same on the other two. Right, okay, let's just move that over, just give myself a little bit of, so it's a little bit tricky cutting through the red liner tape, but we're all good. All right, and then the final piece is going to come in and across like so. I'm just going to do that. Right, okay, so you should end up with something that looks like that. So you've got the two ends like that, and then right away, and you've got exactly the same on the other side. It's a bit hard trying to show you this when you've got it so big. Told you it's a big one. Right, next job is we're going to peel off the red liner tape and we're going to stick the sides down. So what I tend to do is I give it a little, I know we eased it a little bit earlier on, so I'm just going to give it another ease, but now I'm gradually going to try and bend it over a little bit more, and I'm going to take that first layer of red liner tape off with my pokey tool. So I'm just going to pull that off. I have to say the cat loves playing with this. He's just sat right down here beside me. He's Mickey. You want to play with this, Mick? Here you go. That's it. It's on your whiskers. That'll keep you busy for 5 minutes. Right, and I'm going to take the last bit off as well on that side. I always do the long side first. Don't ask me why. It's just habit. I always do the long side first. There you go. It's another long bit. There we are. Right, so this is all tacky. So we're just going to ease it over. So start at one end. Oops, move my tea out the way. Nearly knocked that over everything. That wouldn't have been good, would it? Right, so just going to ease that over like so. And as I'm doing this, I am pulling the card a little bit, so it just helps bend over onto that edge like so. And then the other side like that. And then I'm just going to get my Bernie, and I'm just going to come along and rub that down. All right, like so. And then where we've got these folds here, I'm just stretching those papers just a little bit in those folds like so. So that is one side done, and then we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a workout. Here we are. And then I'm just going to take the red liner tape off. Yeah, Mick, there's another bit for you. He's not looking very impressed with me. There we go. Look, you like all of this stuff. There we go, look. You know, it looks like I've got red spaghetti all over the floor. Right, okay, so we're starting at one end, and we're just going to fold that over as we're going down. Like so. Just going to keep folding that and folding that and folding that. Oops, everything's falling off my table. It's because it's like I'm doing a workout. Right, and again, we're just going to stretch those papers a little bit in the folds just to help. So that should now fold in. So that's looking more like an album cover. Brilliant. Okay, and then the final bit here is going to be the end bits. And if I've cut these just right, then hopefully we're going to get a good clean finish. Now I can see on there that I really did cut that one a little bit short, but we'll just get a little Sharpie pen and cover that in. But like I said, once we've put the papers and the corner covers on that, you're not going to notice that. And when you're coming in to do these bits, if you've got a little bit of overlap, just tap that in with your nail as well, and that will just help you have a nice and neater finish. So, right, okay, let's just fold these over like so. And just keep folding that, that's it. I'm just going to tuck that in. Just a little bit more, there we go. That's it, and then I'm just going to give that a press down with your Bernie on that side. So that's the little flap that comes round over the top. And then we're going to do exactly the same on this side as well. So just going to put that over, that's going to cover much better on that one. There we are. Just take our red liner tape off. There we go. Right, and then I'm just going to literally poke in those tiny little bits. Just helps give it a neater finish. Just tuck this in on this side, like so. There we are. Right, and then I'm going to fold it over like so. There we are. Right, and then just a little bit of a burny finish goes in on there. Beautiful. Right, and there we are. There we have our album cover. Okay, so like I was saying earlier, if you're going to use ribbon, then obviously when you come to decorate the outside, or if you're going to use magnets, then you would put the magnets on before you actually decorate the inside of the cover. But that is a nice sturdy finish. So that's our album cover done. Lovely. Right, just going to pop that to one side. So next we're going to do the hinge itself. So I've cut that bit out here already. Okay, so this is a hinge. Now the hinge is 10.5 inches by 7.25 inches times 1. All right. You might want a pen for this one because there are a few measurements here that we're going to have to sort of jot down. And right, oh actually I need a bigger one. Let me get the bigger one because that is not going to be anywhere near big enough what I need. Everything on this album is big. Here we go. Right, thank you Jackie for the claps and the support there. Lovely jubbly. Perhaps I shouldn't have said that, you know what I mean. Right, the round of applause, that's what I meant to have said, not the other word. Right, okay, so here we go. This is the my scoreboard. So what we're going to do is that we need to create 5 mountings, as it were, okay, because that's what's going to hold the hinge. So let me just show you on one of my scrap pieces. Okay, so this is what this bit of paper is going to eventually sort of come down to something like this. So you're going to get the hinge pieces. Okay, this is what we're going to be making. So we have the both sides, which are going to fit to the album cover, and then you've got these bits. So these are my mountings, and then you've got the valley bits in between. Okay, and that's what we're going to create. So let me just pop that out the way. So the measurements are, now you can do this one of 2 ways. All right, I start off with 1.5 inches coming in because I'm going to need that to be able to cover the gap and stick firmly to the album cover on the inside. All right, now what I do is I do a 1/2 inch coming up for one side of the mounting, and then a 1/2 inch coming down the other side of the mounting. Okay, so when they're folded you get that raised edge. So that's my mounting. But in my mounting, in between the mountings, I'm leaving a gap of 3/8 of an inch, I do believe. So that's 1/2 inch, so, and another one there, so 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so then that is my valley. Okay, then I'm going to do another mounting, so I'm going to do another 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, so that is 3 5/8. So I'm going to come down there, that's one side, and then 4 1/8 of an inch. So that is my next mounting. And now I'm coming to do a valley. So the valley again is going to be 3/8 of an inch. No, 5/8 of an inch. Sorry, my mistake. So we're going to do that at 4 3/4. So that comes in. So that is my valley. Okay, so at the moment I've got one mounting, one valley. There's my second mounting. There's my next valley. Okay, the next one is going to be at 5 1/4, so that's 1/2 inch, and then we've got the 5 3/4 of an inch, so that comes down there. So that's my third mounting, and then the next valley is going to be 6 3/8. 1 2 3. So there we are. That's my next valley. You see how we're going with this, okay? And then from that one, then we've got 6 7/8, which is my 1/2 inch. And then I've got 7 3/8, which is my next 1/2 inch. So that's my next mounting. If I lost you yet, don't worry, I'll go over this in a minute. And then we've got 8 inches there. Okay. So I've got 1 mounting, 2 mounting, 3 mounting, 4 mounting. We just need one more mounting to go. So we're at 8 inch. So I need to do another 1/2 inch and then a 1/2 inch for that mounting. But the valley I don't need to do because that leaves me 1 1/2 inches at the end, which is what I started off with. So it's nice and even. So the measurements are, if you've got a pen and paper handy, I will read them out how to do this. So it's 1 1/2 inches you score on, then 2 inches, 2 1/2 inches, 3 1/8 of an inch, 3 5/8 of an inch, 4 1/8 of an inch, 4 3/4 of an inch, 5 1/4 of an inch, 5 3/4 of an inch, 6 3/8 of an inch, 6 7/8 of an inch, then you've got 7 3/8 of an inch, and then you've got 8 inches, and then it's 8 1/2 inches and 9 inches, which will leave you 1 1/2 inches at the end. Whew, I almost felt like I wanted to call out bingo or house, calling out all those numbers. Okay, so that is now scored. So let's move the scoreboard out the way. Let's pop that out the way. Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to fold our mountings in. So the first one I'm just going to fold back on that 1 1/2 inch. Where's me Bernie? Just going to give him a little like so. Okay, and then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to fold it so it's going the other way. So it's a bit like concertina in it. Okay, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to fold that back on that one like so. All right, so now if you can see, you've got your first mounting. Okay, so then I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to fold it back on the next line. That's it, just give that a crease. There we go. Fold it. Actually, I should have folded it that way. There we go. And then I'm going to crease it. Now I find by this point I just find it easy just to go around and pinch the tops of the mountings and fold them like so. But whichever way you find easier to do, that's really up to you. But I do give it a bit of a burnish. So that's my 2. Okay, then this one I'm just going to fold that one up, fold the next one down if you're doing it that way, and then I fold that back on itself, and that gives me my third one. And again, we'll just crease it as we go along like so. So we've now got 3. I'm going to fold that back on the next one, fold that back on that one, and then fold that back on itself. That gives us number 4, and we'll just crease this like so. So we've got now 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the last one is fold back, fold it back on the next line, and then you fold that one over, and then that gives you your 5th and final mounting. So what I'll now do is I'm going to bunch them all together like so, so it looks like a puckered shirt or a tucked shirt. I'm just going to run my bone fold over that, and then I'm going to turn them around and I'm going to have them going the other way. So I'm getting really good crease marks in these. Okay, and then I'm just going to crease like that. Right, okay. So we're going to come over, flip it over, and what we're going to do is we're now going to run red liner tape on one side. So the easiest way of doing this is probably marking it with a pen or a coloured pencil or something like that, that you can see the sides. Okay, which side you're going to put your red liner tape on. So we've got, this is our 1.5 inch, so we ignore that. So this is the first side of our mountain, so I'm just going to put a cross on that. Then I'm going to miss the other side and the valley. Then I'm going to do the other side of another side of the next mountain, miss the other side of it, miss the valley. Then I come across and we do that all the way down. Okay, like so. So you should end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, where the crosses are, that's where you're going to put your red liner tape. And because it's construction, I'm going to use my 12mm one, because I want this just to be have a really snug fit on here. So I'm just going to run the red liner tape in between the 2 score lines. I'm just going to trim this off like so. Move that pencil out the way, and I'm going to do this for all of this. So with my design of albums, what I like to do is that we make the album and the hinge and everything, and that all gets put in the first instance, and then all the pages are made individually, and we put the pages in right at the very end. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you'll see me doing that. I just find it's easier to work on one page at a time. Okay, and then the album's not going to get battered about too much, because you're having to handle it all the time. So you can leave the album sat out the way while you just concentrate on the pages and doing all the bits that you need to for that. Okay, and let's just put that last one on like so, and we just clip that in on there. Right, and then I'm just going to go across with Bernie, just make sure that that's all stuck down properly. There we are. Okay, and once I've done, oops, sorry about that. Right, once I've done that, now where's my pokey tool? Just going to take this out. So I'm just going to do one at a time. So I'm just going to take the red liner tape off, and I'm literally going to fold that tape onto the other side like so. Okay, and that's it. And then I'm just going to burnish across there, and then that can come back. So now the red tape's disappeared because it's now become a hinge. Okay, and I do exactly the same all the way down. So I'm going to fold that one over. And you can see why we've creased all the edges already, because it just makes this part so much easier to do. Okay. Just going to fold that over like so. Just be careful as well, just a little tip, just to make sure that when you're folding it over that you are keeping everything square. What you don't want is a wonky hinge. Right, so let's just pull this next one off. like so. There we are. And then our final hinge bit, let's take that off. I'm just going to fold that over like so. Okay, right, so there we are. So that is nice and sturdy, and we've got all our hinges there. So I'm just going to give them another little crease, because now we've put the red liner tape in, I'm going to fold them the other way like so. And there we go. All right, and that is our hinge. Okay, so the next bit we need to do is put our, do you remember me saying about keeping hold of the double-sided tape, sheet rather. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to put that on there, and I'm just going to trim around that, because I'm going to stick that on the back, and that's going to help me glue it to the album and make sure it's nice and secure. So I'm just going to gently run the knife down that side. Okay, like I said earlier, if you're a bit unsure about just going for it, then you know, just mark it with a pencil and trim that down. So let's just make sure that that is straight. There we go. I'm just going to come along like so. Okay, there we are. Right, and that bit will come in handy for another piece. And then again, I'm just going to peel this off. So I want to lie that quite flat, and I'm just making sure that it is all nice and square. Then I haven't got it sort of stretched from one side to the other. There we are, and that will go on the back there. So I'm going to peel off this like we did before. Normally the first side is easier to take off. There we go. All right, and I'm just going to lie this down. Get that lined up. It's a little bit tricky because you're trying to keep the hinge. Okay, well, we was near as damn it. Look at that. Oh well, that's all right. We can trim that off. And to be honest, you can probably spend a bit more time on yours than I am doing on here. Like so, but it's just to help it stick down. Let's just trim that along. There we go. Like I said, it's handy to have a good sharp knife when you're doing anything like this. Right, let's just come along and do this last little bit. There we go. Right, okay, so now we've got that bit done, we're going to come back to our album. Here we are. Okay, and this will sit, let's pop that out the way, it's nice and tidy. So this will sit across here. So where we've got our folds, this is just going to sort of line in. And what we want is for it to sit even spaced either side and evenly in the middle of where those folds are. Now, if you're having any difficulty finding this, again, you can just put a tiny little pencil mark on there so you can see, because you will cover that up, but that will just help you work out where your measurements are going to be and the other side. But it's totally up to you how you do that. All right, and then once we've established where we're going to put it, okay, I'm going to peel this off and we're going to stick this on. So right, let's just, right, I normally stand up for this bit because I like to see that I've got it in a straight place. Right, okay, here we go. So I'm lining up the outer hinges against where the folds are, and I'm trying to make sure that everything is relatively straight, and down we go. Right, that's it, we've done it. Okay, and I wasn't overly worried about that odd little bit on the hinge not having the tape right to the edge, because to be honest, that's going to get covered with paper anyway. But there we are. So that is our hinge in. Okay, so I'm just running my fingers through that just to make sure that's all nicely stuck, and just to help with the bend again, because we've now put another bit of card across that, I'm just going to run Bernie along that edge there, and that will just help with that bend like so, and that just gives that a really nice clean finish on there. And then the last thing we need to do for the cover, so we're almost done with the cover, is to just cover these bits here. Okay, so you can do it one of two ways. Now obviously this hinge is going to have a lot of weight on it, that's why I've used the double-sided tape, but you could use a red liner tape if you wanted. These ones are literally just going to be stuck on like that to cover up the gap, because when you come to put your papers on and that, we don't want to see the raw edges. So what I'm going to use for this is a couple of strips of red liner tape, and these are 7 3/4 inches by 2 inches, and you need 2 of those. So I'm going to just run a bit of red liner tape along the side. Let's just trim that off, and the other side like so. Oops, there we go. Like so, and then I'm just going to do, let's take the little sticker off, there we go. I'm going to do the same on this one, but I am going to add glue to this as well, because I just want to make sure that the edges are firm so that they don't move when the album cover is folded, but then we've got glue to help stick the rest of it down in between. So we'll just do this one like so. There we go. Right, and run that along. I'm going to run that along on that one. Right, okay, I think I might need to swap to a more fuller glue. I'm almost running out of that one. Right, so let's peel off our red liner tape. There we are. I'm going to take that one off. Oops, these bits stuck everywhere. Here we go. We do one bit at a time. Bit of glue. Now I use book binding glue. I'm going to add a bit on the tape as well, just in case I need a bit of wiggle room. Bit of glue down the middle. Almost looks like a glue sandwich. There we are. It's like this is the bread with the red liner tape, and then you've got the filling in the middle. Right, a bit of glue at the top of those. Right, so let's put this one down first. Now, the thing with this one is that, because obviously that's on a fold, so what I'm going to try and do is stick down one side first, hold up the other side, so you can see I've still got that in my hand, and then I'm going to crease down the middle to help with that first, like so, and then I'm going to bring that up and just fold that in like so. So now I put that crease in, that should help with that to fold much better, and it still lies flat. If I stuck it down just like that, then I might not have been able to have much wiggle room at all. So stick one side down first, then run your bone folder along it, and then stick down the next bit. Just helps stretch those fibres like so. I'll just do this other one. That's it. Try and get that one out. There we are. Just going to put a bit of glue again. Another squeaky, like so. It really does sound funny when you do that on this red liner tape. I think my cat thinks I've got mice in here. A squeaking noise. Right, okay, we're going to tuck that on there, and again I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to stick down one side, so just making sure that that is relatively even. So I stick down the one side, bring my bone folder along, just going to run that along like so, and then just going to ease that other bit in like that, and now fold that. There we go. So that lies quite nice and flat as well, so we're not getting a raised thing. Right, now I promise that is everything we need to do with the cover, apart from obviously the inside decoration, the pages in, and decorating the outside. So this can be tucked away. So my lovely little clips that I use, I just pop one on there. That just holds it into position, so it shouldn't get damaged while I'm working on everything else. So we're just going to pop that to one side. Perfect. Oh, right, okay, I think it's time for another quick slurp of tea, and then we're going to do the pages. We've got all the big bulky stuff done and out of the way, so now we're going to look at all the lovely little pages that we're going to be doing. So the pages, okay. Now the pages are 7 3/4 inches by 1 1/4 inch, and you need 10 of those. Okay. Now when we come into the amount of paper that you need for this, like the 12 by 12 sheets, so the hinge and the cover take 4 pages of 12 by 12. Okay, and the pages themselves will take 10 pages of 12 by 12. So at the moment we've got a running total of 14 pages. But what I will say is that when you cut out your pages, the cardstock that is left over, you're going to utilise to make up the elements for the next few pages that I'm going to show you. So nothing goes to waste. Okay, so please don't think that, oh my goodness, I've got all this paper left over, what am I going to do with it? Because we will go through and utilise it. Okay, so the pages, as I said, are 7 3/4 inches by 1 1/4 inch. Now on the 7 3/4 inch length, you're going to score 1/2 inch down the side. Okay, but you're only going to do that on one side, 1/2 inch, and that is it. That's all you need to do for your pages. The reason why we do that is because you're going to end up with a 7 1/4 inch by 7 1/4 inch page to work on, but this 1/2 inch here is going to, this is my sample, is actually going to attach to the hinge itself. Okay, and what we don't do is, and trust me, I've learnt this from previous experiences, I don't stick the red liner tape on this part, because that's what I'm going to use to stick it, until I have worked out the order of how my pages are going to go into my album. Okay, so all you need to do is, for the pages, is literally just cut them and score them down that 1/2 inch. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll then take a couple of the pages tonight where we're going to do some of these, and we'll work on those ones, and then everything else we'll just wait until we come to do the other ones. So I think for tonight we're going to do 1 2 3 4 pages. I think I'm aiming for 1 2 3 4. So I'm just going to pull those out. So we're just going to tuck these other ones away, out the way for a minute. Let's get me a little post-it. These are really handy, little mini post-its as well. Absolutely love these. They're really, really useful. Okay, all right. So I think our first page that we're going to do, so we've got 4 pages we're going to cover. Let's just keep one page out. We'll put those other 3 to one side for the minute. So I think our first one we're going to do, which is a very basic one, which is my double doors. Okay, I've done these before on the other albums, so if you've seen those videos, you'll know how to do these. I keep saying I'm going to do a whole series of all the different pages, but I'll be honest, time has been a bit tight of recent weeks, so the plan is that I will get round to doing that. So you can go on and there'll be a video of just how to make the album covers, how to make the hinge, and then obviously all the different pages, and it'll be like a series, if you see what I mean. And then you can just go in, and the beauty of this album is that you can swap around the pages and do different designs and stuff like that as much as you like. So okay, right, double doors then. So 7" by 4". You need 2 of those. So I'll just take my little clip off, keep a little sticker. And what I'm going to do is on the shorter edge here, I'm literally just going to come down and do a 1/2" score. Okay, and that is all I'm going to do on that. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. Okay, and that is it for this. All right, I'm going to get my page, and I'm going to fold on the bubble, or the raised bit. I'm going to fold that. I'm just going to give that a little burnish. And I'm going to do the same on the other one. These are really easy, these pages to do. I thought I'd just start us off with some nice easy ones to ease us in. And then I'm just going to put on the outside here, where I folded that, the red liner tape. And then again, because it's red liner tape, because it's, you know, I'm constructing the pages, that's why I'm using that. Okay. Let's flip this over, and we're going to stick our red liner tape on. So I'm just going to come down like so, just run that along there. I'll just snip that off. Oh, I've buried the scissors. And we'll just tuck that in like that. Okay, and then we're going to do the same on the other side. So I'm just going to snip that one on there. So really easy, these ones. Okay, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to have the doors. So where the scored edges, you're just going to have that butted up against there. Now these are slightly smaller than the page itself. Okay, it's just so that it will give a nice sort of finish at the end. I didn't want it sort of hanging over the edge, and then I'm going to butt those two together, so I end up with almost 1/8 of an inch sort of going all the way around. And if you use that as a rough guide, you'll be fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, so that's how the pages are going to look. The 2 doors are going to butt up against each other on the page. Okay, and I'm going to stick one down first, and I'm going to use this one as a guide, and I'm going to come right to the edge, all bar 1/8 of an inch. So that's my guide to come down there, and then I can center it, and then I can use the other one to match in across. Okay, so again, if you're unsure about just sticking stuff down straight away, then I suggest you just add a little bit of the glue. So I'm just going to peel this off like so. I'm going to put a little, whoops, stuck to my fingers. Just going to run a little bit of glue along here, just so it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Like so. Right, okay, let's get that out of the way. Right, and here we go. So making sure there's my scored edge. Make sure I've got my door going on the right way. I like to fold that back like that, and then I can see how I'm lining that up. That looks pretty straight along there. And that's the first bit done. Okay. And now we're going to do exactly the same on the other side. And the thing with the one on the other side is you just need to be able to line that up. So because that's bouncing a little bit, I'll probably weight that down. There we are, weight it down with me pen. I'm going to just take this other bit off, and again I'm just going to add a little bit of glue, and then that gets that all sorted. There we go. So lovely. I'm just going to literally grab the very edges of that. Now what I do is I just line that up with that, because I want those doors to come together like so, and I'm just literally going to let that naturally drop. She says holding her breath. I'm trying to make sure that I've got it going in quite level and even, and that is near as damn it. There we go. All right, and that literally is our double doors. Really, really simple, easy to do. Okay, so we're just going to run the burning over those, and that is it. And that is one side already done. Okay, so we put that page to one side, and now we're going to, I'm going to stick my little sticker on there, so just to remind me what that was. I'm actually going to use my little clip just to hold those doors down, because I don't want them getting bent and damaged while I'm busy working on other things. So that's all tucked away nicely. All right, so our next one, I think we'll do the horizontal pocket. So here is page number 2. Okay, again I've got the scored edge there, and this is a little bit different. This is the horizontal pocket. Measurements are 4 1/4 inches by 8 inches. You just need one piece of this. Okay, and I've scored 1/2 inch round 3 sides, so 1/2 inch that side, along there and along there, because these are going to get bent back, and that's what's going to create our pocket. So I'm just going to fold on the bubble like we've done before. Just fold on the bubble. Okay, that's it. And now I've folded on the bubble, what I'm going to do is turn it over, and I'm just going to run red liner tape around those 3 folded parts. So again, let's go with red liner tape. So I'm just going to tuck that in there, and we will miter the corners again. So that's one clip. I like to do the 2 short bits first and then finish off with the end bit. There we go, like so. And then right at the end. Now I'm going right to the edge of this pocket paper, just so it gives a little bit of give on the pocket when you're putting stuff on the inside. Okay, and then we're going to miter the corners. So what I want to do is, let me just get my pencil here. Oh no, wrong pencil there, because it's a white one. So here is my corner. I'll just put a little tiny dot there. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut across, and I want to cut across there, but I don't want to cut into that corner bit. Okay, because obviously that's going to take the corner off. So I'm just going to miter right the way across and just give myself a little bit of a gap there. So let's just cut in. So I'm going to cut in to the corner, and then I'm just going to move it to one side, just give it a bit of a wonk, because when I fold it over, now that I've done that, it will help let that lay flat. Okay, and we're going to do the same on the other side. So I'm just going to come in to where the score lines cross over, and then I'll give it a wonk and just come across like so. Okay, and if I just fold that like that, and I can just double check and see how those folds are doing, and that is pretty good actually. If I think it's catching too much, I can just trim off a little bit more, but I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so for our horizontal pocket then, this is going to come down to the bottom of the page. So again, I'm making sure that I've got my score line on the left hand side, because that is the way that I want the page to go. If I decided I want to put the horizontal pocket on the other side, then I would flip it over and come in more onto the left with my score line down here. Okay, and like with the doors, I've given myself a little bit of 1/8 of an inch to go round, so it just gives it that nice finish. And what I find is really handy is to do the bottom bit first and then do the sides. So let's just take the red liner tape off. Here we go. I think my cat's given up. I think he's gone indoors. I think he's had enough of me ignoring him tonight. He's not happy bunny. I'm sure I will get that at meowing at 6 o'clock in the morning because he wants feeding. That'll be my punishment. I don't know about you, but my cat has this really bad habit of banging the doors. Just to let me know, as if his meow is not loud enough, he bangs the door as well. Right, okay, so here we go. So I'm just going to tuck that up, and I'm just going to line that in and down, giving myself a little bit of wiggle room and coming in about 1/8 of an inch just off that edge, like so. That's gone down, and then now I can come in and do the sides, and I don't need to do any wiggle room on the sides, so I'm just going to stick these red bits down straight away, these side flaps, and get this red liner tape off. That's what I meant to say. There we go. Oops, stuff sticks to you like anything. Right, okay, and literally I'm just going to now just gently push them down like so, and there we are, and that is the horizontal pocket done. You can go in with your burnish on my bone folder and just make sure that they are nicely flat along there and that they've stuck together. And that, would you believe it, is the second page already. Okay, let's move on to our next one. So I do believe our next page is the flap it page, which is what I used when I did the made the flapper album. Okay, so again, if you saw me make that, you'll know exactly where I'm going with this. So for this page, you need 4 1/4 inch by 6 3/4 of an inch times 4 pieces. Okay, so let's just take that off. Just put my little sticker on my box there. All right, so I'll just repeat that: 4 1/4 inch by 6 3/4 of an inches times 4. And what we're going to do is we're going to score 1/2 an inch down on the short side here. So let's just pull this up. So I'm going to put the long side in. So on the 6 3/4 inch side, I'm going to score down on the 1/2 an inch. Okay, because that's what's going to make our flap. So I need to do that for all 4 pieces. 1, 2. Here we go. Number 3. And the final one, number 4. There we go. Just tuck my little... did you notice I've got a big one and a small one? Really come in handy, the little scoreboards. Okay, and we're going to fold over on the bubble. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and then the final one, number 4, and then I'm just going to give them a nice little burnish. 1, 2, 3, and then the final one, number 4. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Right, so the idea is, before we stick anything down, is that we're going to work out where we're going to put these. So I'm going to have one that's going to open up there, then I'm going to have one that opens up going that way, one that opens up going that way, and one that opens up coming down that way. Actually, I need to move that one up. There we go. So they're sort of on opposite corners, if you see what I mean. Okay, so now I've established how I'm going to place them. We'll do one at a time. So just a bit of red liner tape. So just tuck a little bit on here. Let's trim that off. So actually, let's put the red liner tape on all of these first, and then we can glue them all down at the same time. That makes a little bit more sense. There we are. Like so. So very similar, obviously, to what we did on our doors. We just put them in a different order, and we've just scored them on the short length rather than the long length. So just opens up lots of possibilities when you mess around with the cardstock, just doing the very simple designs, and then you can just sort of be as creative as you like then. And to be honest, that's how a lot of the pages that I've been making, it's just how I've done it really. I come along and go, oh yeah, I like that bit, oh, can I do something different with that? And before you know it, I've created something else. So it's all good, all good. Right, okay, so let's just pop those where they are, so it gives me a rough idea of what I'm going to do. If I'm not sure, I could just put a little pencil mark, because as I move everything round, when I start to stick these, I want to make sure that I'm getting them on the right edge. There we go. All right, let's move those over. So let's do this one first. This one by the score fold. Okay, so again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in almost against there, but I'm going to come in just a fraction off that edge, because I don't want it to get battered, and that's why I'll come in just a little bit. And then once I've stuck one in, then that will sort of be my guide to lining up for all the others as we go round. Okay, so let's take off the red liner tape, and I'm going to add a little bit of glue to this, just to help me with a little bit of wiggle room. And squeaky glue. Makes me laugh every time. It's just a squeaky glue. Okay. Right, we're just going to fold that in. I can see the score line. I'm coming in just a fraction off the score line, and I'll come in just a fraction off the edge of the page, and then that's that stuck down. Okay. Oh, I've got a little bit of glue there showing, but I can use my little glue rubber to get rid of that bit. That's fine. Okay, so that's the first one down. All right, now the next one will come up, and we'll work our way going around it anti-clockwise. Okay, so let's do our next one. So once you've made the album, the pages don't really take too long to sort of start putting together, and it's up to you really what pages you want to put in. I mean, I've done lots of different ones because I like to show you different types of pages that you can do. Right, let's just see. So where that is there, that's coming just a fraction off, so I just want to make sure that I line that up to where that was, and I'm coming in just a fraction off that edge. So when that folds over, that is a pretty good guess. So that's nice and neat, if you see what I mean. So yeah, let's just tuck that in. That one's okay, that's straight. Let's give that a little burnish on there. Yeah, so as I was saying, so with the pages, you know, you might like one particular designer page, you want to repeat it a couple of times in your album, that's absolutely fine. I am not the album police. I'll just give you ideas and then leave it up to you really. Right, so this next one is going to come in, and again I'm going to come a little bit off this top edge, and I'm going to come in a little bit so that it just, this flap just goes over, so that covers it, the end. So where is my pokey tool? Here we go. and just get this done. Oops, this has been a little bit tricky, this little bit. Don't want to come off that. Right, let's just in. Right, okay, a little bit of glue. Just going to wiggle through that bit. Squeaky bit. Okay, I'm going to fold that in. So let's just check roughly. That's pretty much where I've put that pencil line actually, so that's pretty good. I mean, you could spend a little bit more time on this. You can sort of really line up your pages by drawing a very faint pencil line, so you know that it sort of matches. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, and then our final one, which is going to come down from the top like so. So this is the tricky one, because this is the one that I need to line up against that one down there and this one. So that's sort of coming in a little bit, but the fact I've got this fold bit here, that will help me with a bit of a guide to that. So it's not too bad, not too bad at all. Okay, right, let's wiggle a little bit more glue on. Oh, here we are. I can't believe it. We're almost to the middle of, what's the date today? The 14th, yeah. So we're almost in the middle of November. It's not going to be that long before Christmas. What are we, 6 weeks away? Something like that. I don't know if any of you done any of your Christmas shopping. I'll be honest, I've not done any Christmas shopping yet. I'm still doing birthday shopping. So I've not even thought about Christmas presents or anything like that. So I know there'll be some of you out there that would have done all your Christmas shopping probably back in the summer, but there we are. Right, okay, so our flapper page now, 1, 2, so depending on how you fold it, 1, 2, let's bring 3, 4, okay, and that is that one done. All right, so that one was fairly straightforward. And now we're coming to our very last page for this evening anyway, because I didn't want to sort of blow your minds too much. I thought we'll do the cover, we'll do the hinge, get that done, get your pages prepared ready, and then we'll just do 4 of the basic pages, and then obviously next week we'll go through some more in a little bit more detail. Okay. So this one is my stacked index pocket page, okay? Now I've got one piece at 8 inches by 2.5 inches, and I've got 3 pieces at 8 inches by 1.5 inches, okay? So this is going to be the bottom pocket, and then you're going to get the 3 coming up the top like so. And then I've got these little tags, which are a little punch that I've got, which I've just sort of obviously punched out, and they just fold over. That's what I'm going to use for my stacked pockets as we go up as my little index. But if you haven't got anything like this, then just a little bit of black card just folded over is gonna work just as well. But with the beauty of these is that these will be glued on like so, and then that becomes the tab ready. But you can do little square ones and just stick them on if you haven't got anything like that. So that's absolutely fine. Or you might decide you might not want to put these on at all, but up to you. Really don't mind. So they are my little tabs. So I'm just going to crease those, because they'll get glued on right at the end. Okay, so they're all prepped ready. Now on this one we need to score the sides on the 3, so let's do those first. So let's get my scoreboard out again. So on the long 8-inch side, we're going to score 1/2 inch on one side, and then I'm going to turn around and do 1/2 inch on the other. I'm going to do that for all 3 pieces. Okay, here we go. There's the second one and the third one. So that one, and I'm going to flip that round and do that one. 1, 2, 3. So that, oh, can't get grip hold of that. There we go. Oh, where did I put the other bit? Oh yes, there we are. And this is going to be the base pocket, so I'm going to want to go round all 3 sides with 1/2 inch. So that's one side, then turn it on the long, and we're going to come down and do that, and then I'm going to come around and do the other 1/2 inch. And we're going to prepare this exactly the same way that we did the horizontal pocket. Okay, so you can see how just using one technique gets evolved into being used for other pages. So we're just going to fold that, and we'll fold that one. And now that I've folded those, I can turn them over, and I'm just going to put red liner tape on there, and I'm also going to put red liner tape on these as well, on these end bits. I'll just fold everything like so, and then the last one like so. There we are, and we'll just put the red liner tape on. So I'm going to use the 9mm on this because I just want a little bit of give in the paper and the pocket and that when we're tucking stuff in. So just come to the edge of that, like so, and then come around and do the other one, and we'll just put the red liner tape on all of these. Now if you don't have any red liner tape, then obviously you can use book binding glue. You know, you want a nice strong glue, especially when you're doing construction. Okay, you know, but if you haven't got that, you know, then use whatever you can. But I just find if I'm making albums and that, I just want to make sure that they're going to last, so that's why I tend to use the red liner tape and the book binding glue, because they're really lovely and strong. So we're just doing these last couple of bits, and we'll just flip this around and do this one. Whoops, that's folded over like so, and then we've just got one more to go. Yeah. So the idea is that you should be able to get this album made certainly before Christmas, and that should give you time to decorate it as well beforehand, if you want to give this as a gift, or you might decide you want to keep it for yourself, you know, to put all your family memories and mementos and stuff in. Right, let's just give these a quick burnish. Bernie's working hard tonight. Here we are. 1, 2, 3. So I suppose this is the time now where a lot of the towns and everything are doing all the Christmas switch on lights and that. We've got our one, I think, coming up in a couple of weeks, I think. I'll have to check my calendar. But yeah, it's nice to go and see what they're up to. Right, here we are then. So the corners are going to come across again like I did before, and then I'm just going to go on the wonk there, and then I'm going to come up there, and I'm just going to go on the wonk there as well. I don't need to trim off any of the other bits on this particular pocket, but there we are. Right, let's just line everything up ready. Okay, so our final page for this evening. Okay, now like with any pocket, I always do, like I said before, I always do the long one first at the bottom. So I'm just going to take the tape off, and I'm going to run a bit of glue on the bottom just so it gives me a little bit of wiggle room, like so. Here we are. Perfect. And just going to line that in, and again these pockets are slightly smaller than the page, so I'm just bringing it in about 1/8 of an inch, or give or take a little bit, but just to give me a nice finish on that. Okay, and then we're just going to peel these off, and we'll stick these down Oops. See, why is it always these little fiddly bits of red liner tape stick to you more than the long bits? I don't know. It's just one of those things. Okay. Right, and I'm just going to now drop that down and fold that in. So that is the first bit. So now these ones are now going to stack on top. So now I've got that first pocket in, I can now go in and line these up along that edge so that hopefully it should follow all the way through. So I'm going to stick one side down first. Now I've got the first one down, I'm not going to worry about glue on these, but because these are only small bits and I'll be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to line that down, line that up against it, just so I know what we're doing. And I'm just leaving a very tiny little gap, just literally, it's probably 2 millimeters if that on there. Okay, so I've stuck one side down and we'll come around and we'll do the other side. Tape sticking to your fingers again. Right, okay, I'm just making sure the page is lying flat, because what I don't want to do is when I stick these down is for the page to start curling up. So we're giving it just a little bit of a gap, keeping that nice and flat. Okay, so you can see it's bowing a little bit, but that's because I want enough room to be able to stick stuff in, but overall that's not too bad. And then we'll carry on and do the same with the other two. So again, I'm just going to line, making sure the page is lying flat, just a tiny little gap, lining the edge of this one up with the others so we're getting a nice straight edge. If you're unsure about this and you're a bit worried, then just put a ruler along the edge to keep it straight. Okay, right, and we'll do the next bit. Just going to tuck that round, keep that page flat, just a tiny little 2 millimeter gap if that. There we go. And then our final one's going to go in on the top as well. Okay, and then we are almost done, everybody. Okay, all right, take that one off. See, it just sticks to me, this stuff. Just, I have to laugh because, you know. Right, okay, so we're just going to put that last one on, and again I'm just making sure that I'm lining that up. That's going to come in and across again. And this is where it's important as well that you burnish all of these, because you get those nice crispy edges to them, which just helps with the effect as well. Now, I just want to make sure as well that before I stick this one down, that the distance is the same all the way along. What I don't want is to stick it down where it's wonky. Okay, so again, I'm just keeping an eye on that top page, because there's nothing worse than looking at something that is a little bit squiffy. Okay, and I think, looking at that, we are pretty much there. So I'm just going to go along and recrease all of these, just to make sure that we've got that nice and flat, like so. We are almost done, people. We are almost done. All right, now my little tabs. So with these, I'm going to have them, so I've got one going there. So I'm just going to set these in situ, and then I've got another one going like so, another one going like so, and then I've got the one at the top. Now, you could measure these if you wanted to. Okay, so if I tuck that one in like that, you know, just to get the rough distance. So what I might do is come in 1/2 inch. Just put my ruler down the side there. So I'm lining it up with the edge of that. So 1/2 inch coming in from the top. And then I'll go 1/2 inch in there, and then I should in effect get roughly 1/2 inch between the two. So it's better to do the outside ones first, and then you can wiggle the ones in the middle, if that makes sense. Okay, so while I've got that one lined up at the top, I'm literally going to get some glue. Now what I find with these, so it doesn't get too messy, I literally just put a bit of glue on one side first and just stick this first bit in. So literally just going, so there's the 1/2 inch, I can see where I'm going with that, and I'm just going to tuck that in, and then that will just stick on there like so. And then I go in with the rest of it and I just do the other side. I don't want to put too much glue on, and then I'm literally just going to fold that over and then just make sure that those edges line up nicely on there. But again, as I said, if you're doing it with just a bit of folded card, then you can just make sure that that's covered. So that's the first one down. Okay, just going to turn it upside down because I'm going to come in 1/2 inch again on this side. Make sure that is level. I'm just going to tuck a little bit of glue on there, tuck that in. I'll tuck that in right now. I'm going to wiggle that a little bit. There we are. That's 1/2 inch. I'm going to bring that up against there. I'll fold that down, and then I'm going to put that last bit in. Like so. And there we are. I've just got that in. Okay, so that's 2 down. Now don't worry about these bits because these bits will get covered with card. Okay, and then we've just got to wiggle the other ones to go in. So if I've come in 1/2 inch there, let's just come in, see if we get away with 1/2 inch from that side. That will work. Will we get away with 1/2 inch from this one? Let's have a little look. Going on that gap, 1/2 inch there. I reckon that's going to be pretty close. So let's just put a bit of glue in. Like so. And then just add a bit of glue in there. I'm just going to hold that in like so. Just move that down. That's it. Make sure that's sitting nice and level, and then the last one's going to go in, and then we are done. So can you believe it? One album cover, one hinge, 10 pages cut ready, and 4 pages already done in, how are we doing for time? Look at that, 2 hours. That's pretty good going. That will give you a rough idea as to how long it's going to take you to do that. And I appreciate that obviously I'd already cut my stuff up beforehand, but even if you cut all of your bits beforehand and put it together, it's not going to take that long to do. Okay, and there we are. So that is our index stacked pocket, because I wanted it to have the look so it looks like with the tabs. And then the idea is that you can then tuck a variety of different items and stuff behind that, and once that's decorated, that's going to look lovely. So let me just pull back our album, the main one, the big one. Oh goodness me. So you've made the album cover. Okay, so this is what we've made the album cover. This is what I was saying about the corner protectors. Okay, if you're going to use these, and you need to make sure that you put them on fairly soon before we start decorating the inside covers. Okay, we have made the pocket, the horizontal pocket. In this one I've got a couple of little cards, and I've made a little mini folio in there, so that's that pocket, so you can see what it's going to look like when it gets decorated. This is the double doors. When we come to do the final touches, I'll explain about how to make the clasps and stuff, but that is just the double doors. Okay, whoops, Stick that back on there. And here is the flapper page. So as you can see where we've stuck those on, how that opens up. Like so. So you can put these in whichever order you want. I might do that one, or I might go that one, maybe that one down. I don't know, whichever way you want to do that. And then last but no means least is our last page that we've made tonight is the stacked page. Okay, and as you can see here, I've just punched out a little circle and just put a little snowflake on there, but you can see why. You know, you've got lots of different little things that you can tuck in, and you've got your little photo mats and stuff like that. So that's what we've done. So there we go. So I'm going to call it a night for tonight. And next week we will carry on making the other, some more of the other pages. Let me just see if I can, I'll just tie this up out of the way first. I'll see if I can find my sheet for next week, which ones we're going to do. Let's have a little look. So next week, week 2, we are going to do the little pocket with the little mini stack. We're going to do the gasset pocket, which is the one with the photo acetate in it. We're going to do our little side vertical acetate pocket as well. The fold back page and the double envelope. So we're aiming for at least 5 pages next week, which I think we will be, I think we'll have more than enough time to do that. So I hope you've enjoyed this evening. Apologies for some of the technical hiccups. I'm hoping that when I check back on the live feed that I've been doing the recording, that it doesn't show up too many of those. If it does, then I'll have to do a little repeat of some of the earlier stuff, and then obviously just splice that in and what have you. But there we go. So thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely weekend. I think I'm going to go and get myself another cup of tea because that one's gone cold now. But I will catch up with you and see you next week. So thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, pop over to craftywafty.co.uk for all your crafting goodies. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.